All right, you're here with the Breath of Fresh Controversy podcast. My name is Zach.
Jay.
And we have a guest today. His name is Tyler. He'll be with us speaking on some religious topics today, but he's also here for the weekly update. So, Jay, let's run through the week here. What's going on in the news?
Wowie wow. It is the weekend after Super Tuesday, and I am just thoroughly disgusted. I've ripped on Democrats on the show. I've ripped on Republicans on the show. Today, I guess, is really all about the Democrats. Wow. Are you proud of yourselves? I mean, really, how do you look yourselves in the mirror? I mean, is this time for a little introspection or what? Wow. I mean, we had Hillary during the 2016 campaign do this really stupid, deplorable speech, and how everybody that was either on her side was on the good side, and everybody that was on Trump's side was on the deplorable. I think that speech, of course, backfired big time on her and separated people from her, potentially, because there's probably always a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people, always in any close election, there's always people that are right in the middle, not sure which way they're going to go. She might have pushed them over to the other side without even meaning to do it. And she referred to everybody on the Trump side as deplorable, and they were racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah.
Cisnormative bigots.
Well, what happened, Hillary? I mean, this isn't Donald Trump's fault. I mean, there's a lot to rip on Donald Trump about, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a hardcore Trump supporter. I'm indifferent. I'm not a Mitch McConnell supporter. So what happened? I mean, it's not their fault now, is it? Or are you guys going to find a spin it away? I mean, come on. Where's CNN? Where's MSNBC? Where's the introspection here? You did not get behind one single woman. You had more women run than ever before. In other words, you had more choice. Oh, you like that word choice so much, don't you? Oh, except about guns and about schools. Okay. Anyway, you had more women to choose from. I think, there was Elizabeth, of course. There was Amy, of course. Kamala, of course. Marianne. Tulsi, who I actually dug. And she's still on the ballot, by the way.
Oh, by the way, hold on.
Tyler, come on.
Pardon the interruption,
Go ahead, Tyler.
Jay.
Sure. Bring it in.
I thought it was really interesting. Kamala Harris had an interview the other day, and she said, it's a shame that there's no more women left in the field. And it's like, Tulsi, you can see Tulsi Gabbard waving in the background. It's like, she's still in the race.
Yeah.
On the, so what are we talking about here? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not on their side.
It's so weird, right? Because on paper, with the whole identity politics that you're talking about, with what's deplorable in that Hillary speech, all the identity politics, look at Tulsi Gabbard. She's perfect for these people on paper.
Yeah.
But
right?
she was ousted.
For what? Because she's a good debater. She put down, was it Kamala Harris, right?
Yeah,
she put her down.
She spoke up last year, 2 years ago, about how, about how Bernie Sanders was screwed over in the last election.
With the superdelegates.
And she called, the superdelegates. So that was a point of contention. I feel like that ousted her. But I just still feel like, what a misfortune for Tulsi Gabbard to not even be considered in that topic.
I feel like if you're going to look at, on paper, somebody that is a polar opposite of Donald Trump, it's Tulsi Gabbard. And somebody that could flick him in the dick in a debate and go, get the fuck out of here, little man, okay? It would be Tulsi Gabbard. Everybody else, there's something wrong. She was in the military, man. She was in the fucking military, you know what I mean? I she had my vote.
She's good looking.
I lean more libertarian and conservative. I voted for Ron Paul and Gary Johnson before, this would be my first time voting for a Democrat, and I'm all for her.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, what she said was the majority of the votes in Hawaii, am I correct in that? She's
Hawaii.
Representative from Hawaii.
Yep.
She was saying the majority of the votes were Bernie Sanders, but because of the superdelegates, Hillary got the nod in Hawaii. And Tulsi Gabbard was against that. And thus, again, the ousting of her from the normative on that left side.
Right.
Unfortunate. Yeah. But, it's a dumpster fire over there, right? So, is there anybody even really running anymore on the left side? I feel like it's almost...
Man. It's hilarious. They call everybody all these names. So all you PC people out there, your political correctness, I first came into, I don't know, Tyler may have been alive. This other guy over here wasn't alive. I first heard about this like in the late 80s, and it was just so small, and I was a bunch of like college people. And then it started catching a little bit of a wave there by 91. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, okay, it's probably just like Madison, Wisconsin kind of people and whatever. And then the wave just kept going and going. All of a sudden, we get to like, I don't know, the last 5 years, and men can be women and women can be men, and we're not sure we are this day of the week. And like, holy crap, we've gone
dogs
completely.
Can be cats.
Yeah, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Oh man. Referencing Ghostbusters here.
But it's just been insane. It's been insane to the membrane, and like I said, Hillary's speech, which I think in 2016 completely backfired on her. She was pushing people away instead of pulling people together. I think she was trying to do something, and whoever wrote that speech did not help her, or she didn't execute it properly, one or the other. But anyway, I mean, what a joke. And I want to say this, even as a guy who's not a Democrat, I am surprised, Democrats. I'm surprised. After Super Tuesday, I thought, okay, here's what I thought, just a bare minimum. I thought Elizabeth Warren would have had some primaries, maybe even Amy Klobuchar. I can't believe Amy Klobuchar quit right before her states, which is, I think Tuesday, Minnesota was one of the states.
Has Elizabeth Warren declared for one or the other yet? Has she said whether she's backing Bernie or backing Biden?
I have not heard yet.
I haven't either. And that's another gutless move, by the way.
Well, maybe it's a shrewd move. I don't know. Maybe she's playing them both. She wants the VP spot. I don't know.
Maybe she's waiting to see where the chips fall, I guess, because it's supposed to come down to the wire. Maybe she's waiting, I guess. But the gutlessness over and over again, okay? So from now declaring that you are a Native American to gain advantage, political advantage, is another thing. And, oh my God, you've seen it all over. You've seen it on South Park. You've seen it on comedy shows. I just don't understand how people can still back that person. I don't know. It's beyond me. It's kind of beyond me. And then she's still in the spotlight.
Yeah, she was Saturday Night Live last night.
It's swept up. Yeah, right. So keep her out in the general public. But the topic of conversation on that left side is the absolution, right? If a woman isn't elected president now, then, after Hillary Clinton and after this election cycle, if a woman isn't elected now, then it's never. It's all or none.
Yeah.
And I can't reference that. I heard on a similar podcast that it's like, well, why can't it just be about who is most popular? If you didn't do your job right and gain the best votes, then what are we yelling? We're crying over spilt milk, I guess. I don't know.
I think why we are addressing it, and I think what's worth addressing is that it's often, the Republican Party is often shunned for not being inclusive to diversity and not being inclusive to women, even though Sarah Palin was in the last 10 to 20 years.
Good point.
We had Carson run last time, was it? Well, we've had guys like Alan Keyes.
Alan Keyes has run,
By the way,
Marco
we're
Rubio.
piggybacking just off the first African-American Democratic president in U.S. history.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
That's not progress. I don't...
Right. Well, right.
Is.
And it's kind of like maybe they're just like, we got to ride the wave, and now it's just, that's just what the new norm is. And I hear your point, too, where it's like, I always come back to, like, look at a population chart. If you want to play the identity politics, look at a population chart. If you want to play the, we're misrepresented, we're underrepresented, look at a population chart. I don't think enough people do, right? It's like, look, something like over 60% of the population is still white, right? And 50% of the population is male. So the chances of, having more of these white men in positions of power or running for office, it's just they hold that biggest pie chart, right? And when you look at the demographics and everything. So now people are going to be like, well, it's not fairly represented. Well, there's the whole psychological argument of interest, right? It's like, well, men are more interested in these sorts of political things and women are more interested in fields like medicine or childcare, social work, education, things like that, right? It's like, are you going to, if you want to equalize it all, right? Like, what exactly are you equalizing? Are you going to equalize, all the bricklayers? Are you going to equalize all the computer science majors?
Zach, that's a really good point, and I don't know exactly what. I don't understand. If a certain demographic wanted to be, let's just say, auto mechanic, then they would just be auto mechanics.
Yeah.
But to say that we're going to diversify every field of work, every field of political science, is just kind of nonsense. And just right off the tip, I am all for equal rights, straight across the board. I don't think anybody here is against that.
Right.
No.
No,
Right.
show of hand. No,
Right.
nobody is.
No.
So, it's a misrepresentation. If more women wanted to be in, then wouldn't there be more women running for these offices?
Which I
don't
think
know.
they would,
But to
and
just
this
plop
is,
them in
and I think the
because they're
progress.
deserving of it.
Well, right. I think where the progress is what you said earlier is that this is a time where more women have run than ever before. I think the big surprise and what needs to be rubbed into the Democrats' face is we haven't even gotten past Super Tuesday and all of the women have dropped out and we're down to 2 white old guys.
After
After Super Tuesday,
yeah.
we are down to 2 white,
which is
rich,
par for the political
millionaire,
course.
rich
Okay,
millionaire
we know
white
this.
guys. Yeah,
We know this.
And so and for it always being rubbed in the right side of the aisle's face, so, it's like you're not diverse enough. You're not diverse enough. You're not diverse enough. It's like it's 2020, baby, right? At least one of them should be. If according to your guys' whole mantra, your whole speech of how the world's supposed to work, one of them should be POC or one of them should be a female.
Well, they're hitting fast forward button on something that's only been around for 60 years. The women's rights movement, right, started in the 50s.
Well, no. Well, the women's suffrage movement goes back way before that. Susan B. Anthony, you can look her up. She's way back before that, and she never even saw
100 years. Let's say 100 years.
Yeah,
It's still relatively new in human
yeah,
history.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, she never saw women have the right to vote. She died before that amendment actually went through. But you can look that up. But go ahead. You something you were going with her.
I'm just saying it takes time. You can't fast forward through into history. You just have to let it progress. Yeah. It might seem, I don't know. It might seem insensitive. I guess I don't know. You can't fast forward these things. You have to let them progress naturally. And to say that it's all or not, it's now or nothing, is not doing any good for your party. It's not doing any good for the women's rights movement either.
Yeah.
So I for me, this is just incredible hypocrisy, and at some point, hypocrisy just becomes there's like a dial or a needle that moves, and at some point, you're not even a hypocrite. You're just a liar. You're just an out and out liar. To me, that's where the Democrats are at right now. Where were the millions of women or progressive men out there from Massachusetts to Texas to Oklahoma to North Carolina, all over the place? Where were they on Super Tuesday? I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And so, Democrats, I think you need to look in the mirror. You need to have some introspection, and you certainly shouldn't be calling anybody deplorable or sexist or racist or homophobe at all. And this just proves it. This is just fact. This is your world. And who the hell are you with 3 white guys on late night talk? 3 white men, 2 Jimmys and 1 Steven. I would like some diversity, okay? I'm a libertarian. I would like Chris Rock to have his own show. Where the hell is it? I think even after those guys, there's more white people. James Camden and Seth Meyers, I don't know what other English guy fat guy. I don't know. There's like an Indian woman later on in the night, like in the middle of the night, she's on. But I don't know. Anyway, it's ridiculous.
It's boring.
And again,
boring.
Andrew Yang. Okay, so you're xenophobic and you're racist. He didn't catch on. Cory Booker didn't catch on. So you're racist.
Hold on. By the way, Andrew Yang openly said his first act as president would be to open the jail cells for minor drug offenses, for minor marijuana drug offenses, and he would go and shake the hands of everyone that came out of prison. That's a strong statement. I don't think he can actually do that. But the statement there is there's something wrong, systemic, right? And he wants to fight for it. But Yang didn't get any traction.
Yeah.
I enjoyed listening to what he had to say. No traction.
I feel like we did have some really, really good candidates. I think Tulsi and Andrew Yang were 2 people I personally had a lot of interest in, and I would have loved to see them at the head. I would be, as somebody who doesn't really lean towards the left side of the aisle, I'm more in the middle, right? I would have been really excited. And I don't think I would have been the only one. I think this is really boring.
Well, and
Joe Biden and
it's
Bernie.
very boring.
This is so boring.
and
This
it
is as
speaks-
boring as late night talk shows.
There's such a division here, right? So we're talking about voters as a whole, and we're rapidly spreading out to the outlier populations. We're going extreme left and extreme right. Say what you want about Donald Trump. That's about as far. I mean, this guy was a daytime celebrity, and he's president right now.
Yeah.
Who else was an actor?
Ronald Reagan.
Reagan. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Reagan was there too, and then you have Hillary Clinton far left over there. So it just seems to be going so polar opposite. There's no one in the middle gaining traction to gain those middle line voters, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's the argument for Biden, I guess. That's what they think anyway.
Well, he's comfortable, right?
And I think his time was and left, and he should have ran 2016.
Yeah.
He should have.
We said
left.
it on a prior podcast. I think Michelle Obama was more of the vice president, and Joe Biden was more of the first lady during Obama's 8 years.
So I want all the women out there thinking, oh, these guys, there's a bunch of guys on there. This is a sausage fest. Oh, they hate women. No, hold on. I can't speak for the other two guys here, but I as far as I'm concerned, no. I want to make everybody happy. In fact, I want to challenge everyone. I want to beg.
Well, I vote against the sausage fest. I'm just
Okay.
saying.
Okay. Well, you brought it, or whatever. What the hell did you bring here? You should bring food.
I brought
but
meats
anyway.
and
Why not? It's
cheeses.
just
Meats and cheeses.
yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I'm looking at. All right, so I want to challenge the Democrats out there. It's not done, folks. It's not done. You know what? Why don't you turn this ship around, okay? All your other states, show us how progressive you can be. Turn this ship around. Vote for Tulsi if she's on the ballot. Hey, if you want to vote for Liz and her name is still on the ballot, vote for her or Amy or any of them. Or if Kamala's still on the ballot, I
Harris
don't know.
was a prosecutor, correct?
Yeah,
And didn't she put away an incredible amount of minorities?
Yeah.
Right. So
So Tulsi was
What-
kind of calling her out
what are we
for
t-
her. Yeah.
And again, so Tulsi Gabbard comes out and says the right thing,
Gets
but then
shamed.
she's shame. I feel like it's Game of Thrones. Shame.
Yeah.
It's they're eating each other over there on the left side. It's a dumpster fire. I don't know. I don't get it.
I mean, and right now, there's some people talking that, Bernie may eventually bow here to Biden. And I just think, what the heck? We're in Wisconsin. Those listening to the podcast here, our primary is not till April 7th. So, and there's several big ones to come.
Let's not forget. Sorry, I know I keep interrupting.
It's fine.
Let's not forget.
Fine. That's what you're doing.
Okay,
That's what you're
the
supposed to do.
resignation of Debbie Wasserman
Oh,
Schultz
yeah.
from the DNC chair, and then backs Hillary Clinton, and they snowball.
Yeah.
They snowball Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
I felt that guy got hosed.
Yeah. And
he's-
nobody's calling
and
it
he's about
anti-Semitism.
to get hosed
Again. And nobody's calling it anti-Semitism. Even
Oh,
though he's a
my
Jew.
good
He's a Jew.
Lord.
He might not be a religious Jew, but he's still a Jew. We're going to get into Jews later. Jews, technology from Egyptians.
The Jews.
Parting the ways, parting the waters. We're going to talk about that later. But so, yeah, they may be screwing them again. Nobody can call it anti-Semitism.
I don't know what to call
What
it.
is going on? Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is it's really, really sad. But I would like to see Democrats prove me wrong. If you're listening from all over the country, as you could be, or worldwide, here in the United States, though, we have a lot of primaries left. Prove me wrong. Let's turn this thing around.
Who was Skeletor that stood up at the end of the State of the Union address and ripped the speech paper by paper? Sit down, skeleton.
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi.
But she screwed that up, Tyler, though, because first of all, I think she could have gotten in trouble because that's like an official document. But she should have ripped it in smaller and smaller pieces and then just threw it up in the air like confetti.
Why not just have a paper shredder there? Like, just, I don't know.
But she really should have thrown it up all in the air. It should have been just the bigger show. But it's fun. It's fun
We're
theater.
gonna stomp our feet and cry and I don't know.
Political theater. But
And I was from the left. I'm a social worker by trade.
oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about you.
And and so it's like I want to help unite people, but it just seems an increasing amount of divisiveness. And there's nothing getting done by that. That's
Well, it's really sad, but who knows what is to come here? I looking at it now here, ladies, and especially they think they're you think I'm a sexist. No. Hold on, hold the phone. Have a little patience here. What's to come now? If you got Bernie or Biden, let's say either. So let's just narrow it down. If either one of them is going to be the candidate, I think again, it's just me. I think they got to take a woman. I got to take a woman as a running mate. And on the other side, it's a kind of creepy thing with this coronavirus, and let's hope it all calms down no matter what your politics are, people. Let's hope it all calms down, they get it under control. But if they don't, interesting how President Trump has assigned VP Pence to sort of head that and watch over that. I'm thinking, are you setting this guy up to fall or what? What's going on here? So I will throw it out there because I like craziness. And, Zach mentioned boring earlier, and he's right. At this point, I mean, if it's Biden against Trump, really boring. Bernie against Trump, it could be a little fun. That could be a little fun there. But the running mates now might matter more than ever. Just the age of Bernie, the age of Biden. Biden seems to have some mental incapacity. His mental capacities seem to be a little bit challenged. It's more than just sleepy. I don't know. Some days he seems like he's on his medication. Other days he seems like he's off it. He's got his
nodding
meds
off in the nursing ward.
I mean, it is sad, and I will say again to the Democrats, you blew it in 2016. The economy was doing good. Things were going well. The VP always gets it. Think Daddy Bush 1988. There was a scandal with Iran-Contra. Didn't matter. The economy was doing so well, he just walked right over Michael Dukakis. This was no problem. And that really would have been Joe Biden against Donald Trump in 2016. People knew Hillary. People don't think about this. They knew her. So often you don't really know the people that run for the president. Think about people when you don't really know. People met her. People met her in 1992.
Yes.
They had all this time, and guess what? They rejected her in 2008. If you need proof, there's proof. That was supposed to be Hillary's year. Young upstart from Illinois. Hardly anybody ever knows the guy. He came up and he was all hope and change and smiling, and he was and caught everybody's hearts and imaginations. And Hillary went out to go off to the side all over again. So, see. People don't like her. And they made up their mind a long time ago that they didn't like her. So Joe could have won 4 years ago. This time around, I don't know.
I'm wondering what the deciding point in not backing Hillary was. Was it Benghazi? Was it the multi-million dollars that she makes giving speeches? Was it that she stood by her husband's side while he got blowjobs and handjobs in the Oval Office? You take your pick. There's plenty of reasons that people didn't want to back Hillary. I was surprised that the DNC backed her in the first place. I was very surprised by that. I mean, writing's on the wall. How did you not see that? This is a steam locomotive coming right at you in Donald Trump. And you put that out in front, you put Hillary Clinton out front. And she's been in politics forever. And I actually think that she's a very good politician. Very, very well-versed politician. She's good at politics. Is she gonna win the hearts of the voters though? And that is the very specific thing. They backed the wrong horse, I feel.
Well, that's in the rearview mirror right now. There was talk of her jumping into the race.
I'm still waiting for her to jump off behind a bush somewhere.
You never know. Bloomberg sort of teased that he would take her as a running mate, and it didn't really do anything for his numbers. And again, he didn't do very well. What a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Again, even for me, a very negative, cynical person, it's hard to believe that Michael Bloomberg spent the money that they say he spent. He is all over my newsfeed every all over my social media. Wow. I mean,
all over the place.
I mean, they say that he spent basically what was being spent a few different election cycles ago for the whole presidential year. He spent it just in this last few months here.
Up in smoke.
Didn't solve the damn thing. You just think about that for a second. If this little guy, this little crazy billionaire, if he gave, I've heard 400 million, I've heard 500 million. I'm saying that's even hard. Both of those numbers are hard for me to believe. So for kicks and giggles, let's just bring it down to 300 million. Okay, 300 million is awful. What could you have done with $300 million? And he's pledging more money to spend more money
Solve
in
world
ads.
hunger,
Yeah. You could at least fed some people in some major cities. You could clean up some homelessness.
Paid off college debt.
Maybe we got to pay off some college. Maybe pay off some healthcare debt for some people and some major hospitals. You could have looked like the saint of America, Saint Michael. I mean, that could have been him, even though he's not Catholic. He's a Jew. But hey, he could become the most popular guy. I mean,
he's Catholic.
No. I'm saying he's not Catholic. He's Jewish, but I'm saying he would have been Saint Michael for America if he would have just gone around taking his money and just gone and helped a bunch of people. Instead, he gave all that money to who? Oh yeah, nobody ever thinks about money in politics. Money in politics. Yeah, who gets the money? MSNBC, Yahoo,
pimp him.
Google, Apple. Who gets all the money? NBC, ABC, CBS. Nobody thinks about that. It all goes to the media, ladies and gentlemen. That's who gets you the big money.
Bias media.
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's
Talk
not
about
forget bias.
quid pro quo. People don't understand that. They get paid off right in front of everybody every election cycle, so that hopefully they won't go after these politicians as hard as they should when they get in office. But anyway, so I want to challenge the Democrats for the primaries that are left. Get out there and vote, and hey, vote for Tulsi if her name's on your ballot, or Liz if her name's still out there on your ballot, or any of the other ones who ran. Several women ran. Liz ran, Amy, Kamala, Marianne, Tulsi. I think there even was a Lisa in there at some point. There was over 20 people running at some point.
Is that the most in U.S. history, right?
Yeah, at one time for women running for office, exactly.
Again,
Choice. That's the word they like, choice, except guns in school. But
give credit to that. I'm giving credit to that.
Well,
I think that's an incredible thing.
there you go.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
MI Clap is in that corner. Sorry that none of you got more popular votes than the other.
But I want the women to hear this, and for you too, Tyler. So I have this theory. I'm probably wrong, and I'm probably 4 years early. But it is my Simpsons theory, and I call it the girl in pearls. Okay, that's what I call it. The late John Waters, film director, was in cartoon Simpsons form, was looking at Lisa Simpson, and he called her the girl in pearls. And then there's a different episode, completely unrelated, where she's the president of the United States in the future, and they kind of make her look kind of Hillary-esque. But anyway, so I'm saying the girl in pearls is coming. I still think there's a good chance it's going to be this year. She may have to be the Veep first. So what I'm saying is, I think if it's either Bernie or Biden, they're going to have to take a woman as a running mate. I just think. I mean, some people are already talking Biden with Kamala Harris. You've brought up several times. Bernie and Tulsi. I mean, I don't know where their relationship is today. Tulsi was a big supporter of him, like you brought up 4 years ago, or 2016. Excuse me. So that would be an interesting ticket right there. He's so old and she's so young.
But again, Jay, you're painting a portrait of what is politically a good move. And I'm saying make sure that move is the right, more populist thing. Make sure it's more popular. Don't do it because we think it's going to gain a political advantage in the future. Make sure that it's what your base wants in there. I don't know what that is.
Well, when we have these talks, it's fun. And, we get into it a little bit. We've all kept our cool pretty much, and we haven't had too much headbutting. But, that's what we like this to be, a forum where lots of ideas are just thrown out and talked about openly and honestly. But, for me, there's like two things, Tyler. There's the way, and I used to be more this way, the way I want the world to be. And then there is the topic of, well, how's it really gonna what's really gonna probably happen? And I mean, when I look at 2016, Forever and a Day, I'll talk about this. I'm very mad at you, Mr. and Mrs. America. You dropped the ball big time. We had two decent people, at least, running for president. Neither of them gained any traction, and that was Jim Webb on the Democrat side, former senator from Virginia. And if you Dems want some street credit on that, he was on Obama's short list before Obama. However, Obama and his buddy, I forget what that guy's name is, out of Chicago, however they decided to go with Biden as the running mate. But Jim Webb was on that short list. Just so we're clear. I was stunned that Hillary was so stupid. She takes Tim Kaine from Virginia, but she doesn't take Jim Webb. Jim Webb has a very, very interesting resume if anybody wants to look him up. I mean, I even think Trump should bring him in, even though he's a Democrat. He should bring him in. Webb did actually work under the Reagan administration, even though he's a Democrat. He was assistant Navy secretary. He served in Vietnam. The guy was a Marine. He's a very interesting dude. He was awesome on the Democrat side, but he was boring, and all the money was behind Hillary. Okay. Then on the Republican side, we had Rand Paul, okay, whose father had run for president before, and he was trying to get some traction with his father's base. And he was going to.
Ron Paul had a really big grassroots movement, and they ignored him on so many different bases. Fox News. Ron Paul would destroy, just absolutely annihilate everybody on these online polls, but they wouldn't even count him because the anchors like Bill O'Reilly and the like would just be like, he'll never win, even though he would win 800-1 votes on these online polls. That's insane. So Rand Paul continued with the whole Rand Paul thing, but he had a huge grassroots following from his father. And I think he played the political game even better. Ron Paul was more the ideologist. Rand Paul was more the politician.
And I think in early 2016, looking back through the rear view mirror, is that I think Rand Paul was supposed to be the outsider candidate. And then Trump came in with all of his blather, and then he soon became the outside candidate. He soon took the outsider role, which is kind of questionable because Donald Trump has given money to both Hillary Clinton and Charles Schumer on the Democrat side and a bunch of other Republicans. He's given money out all over throughout his adult life. So it was sad that
his fans just kind of waved that away. He's a businessman.
I wish Chuck Schumer would just put his glasses up on top of his nose for once. It's just, I feel like it's like on the brink of falling off a cliff. He's hard to watch.
Oh gosh. He's a character. So I just want to throw that out there through all the Democrats or Democrat-leaning people who may be listening right now. Hey, you got some primaries coming up. Prove me wrong. Let's, what if Elizabeth Warren, for example, got so many votes and she won a primary because her name's still on a ballot? She'd jump back in. And guess what? The money would probably pour back in too. Or Tulsi's out there still. I mean, again, she's a woman of color, technically, okay? Let's stop being xenophobic and sexist and racist, you Democrats. Vote for Tulsi. Let's see you do it. Come on.
First Hindu congresswoman become woman president.
There you go. But I am saying, I'm throwing it out here again. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm probably 4 years too soon, but I think the girl in pearls is coming. Mm-hmm. So for all you women, I do believe that either Bernie or Biden will take a woman running mate, and there is this chance that Donald Trump, A, will he even be running for president? B, will he have to drop Pence? And will he have to take a woman? And that's where Nikki Haley from South Carolina.
Oh man, is that on the docket, baby? It's right there. It is there. It's ooh.
Yeah. So I'm not God. I don't know who the girl in pearls is.
Imagine the uproar.
I'm telling you, this is what I'm seeing. So, like Zach said earlier, he said boring, and Zach's right. If it's Joe Biden and he just takes some guy as his running mate. And it's just Trump Pence. This is going to be boring. We're going to have a low voter turnout. But I say you get the women involved, and Trump drops Pence. Nikki Haley comes in, or Joni Ernst. One of them comes in, and boom, zoom to the moon. We're off to the races, and you're going to have more people voting than ever before next fall. Coronavirus is a major curveball for everything, and really, for Trump, this is about the economy and the stock market.
I'll tell you, the stock in Purell hand sanitizer through the freaking roof, man.
Yeah.
I was in Woodman's in Kenosha. Shout out Woodman's Kenosha.
All right.
They were sold completely out of all sanitizer products. Not wipes, not liquid, not anything. And people are walking around in the stores with face masks on.
Really?
And I don't know. I just think where there's smoke, there's a fire. So
I don't know.
Unfortunately, people are honestly getting sick, right? And no one wishes that.
No. We hope this all clears up.
We hope it all clears up.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be just like the bird flu and SARS and all the other stuff and go away. So we'll see what happens here. But again, I hold to my prediction, the girl in pearls. I think she's coming. I think it's going to be this election cycle. So we'll see what happens. One last thing about Trump. We'll come back to it later. This does not even got a lot of play in the media. Interestingly, that it hasn't. There are a couple lawsuits about preventing him to be on the ballot in some states because he has not revealed his taxes. So he's hoping the Supreme Court's gonna help him out and dismiss all that. So we'll see. And it's basically could happen. That could start happening the next couple of weeks here. And the deadline for it is sometime in June.
But is that a thing where you have to show your taxes?
Well, that's the thing.
debatable.
Two states are really, at least 2 states, maybe more now, are pressuring him big time, and they're trying to keep him off the ballot. And so he's looking for the Supreme Court to bail him out of this thing and to have it all get thrown out. I don't know. So this is a big question mark. So I'll just say personally, folks, I think you're going to run for office. Yeah, you got to understand you're going to be under a microscope, and your taxes and all that should be out there, and you shouldn't be hiding anything. If you didn't pay any taxes, oh boy, you really don't look so patriotic, do you? Oh, you don't care about our troops, do you? Oh, I thought you cared about our troops. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, all you billionaires and your Cayman Island accounts. Yeah, great. All right. Well, so I'm good. I'm good for the update. Thank you for letting me vent.
Nope. That has been the weekly update with the Breath of Fresh Controversy podcast. Catch us next week.